Hello everyone, and welcome to R&G's vlog on data-driven leadership. My name is Roberto Uning, and I'm the lead architect at R&G Global Consultants. Today, we're going to talk about data-driven leadership with our partner and owner, Aart Willem de Wolf. Welcome, Aart Willem.
Thank you, Roberto.
Could you please say a little bit about what is your experience in supply chain?
I've been working in supply chains for over the last 25 plus years from an operational leadership perspective as well as from a consultancy perspective, and I've been coaching many programs with various clients in various industries.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about data-driven leadership today, and the big question for all supply chain leaders is, okay, why do we need this? Why is it important?
Yeah, intriguing question. I'll keep the answer short, but in essence there's a couple of arguments why data-driven leadership makes sense in supply chains, but as well in other processes. First of all, it is to align with your peers and partners throughout the supply chain. Everybody is entitled to their personal view, but typically it's dominated by functional views. So the area that you work in determines what you see.
Yeah, so more silo-based.
Exactly. So by taking a process view, using data across the process will align views, therefore will take emotion out of decision making, and therefore will improve supported decision making across the chain, and therefore ultimately the effective change programs in your supply chain will have more effect. Mm-hmm. The huge spin-off is because the decision making increases in terms of quality. There is less, nonsense in terms of improvement activities taking place, because your decision making driven by data leads to better and more focused improvement programs rather than gut feel led initiatives.
Mm-hmm. But what does a leader really have to do? I mean, many organizations have analytics teams, analysts everywhere. What needs to happen in the boardroom? What does the CFO, the CEO, what do they really need to do to become a data-driven leader?
I think many leaders claim to be data-driven. As I like to say, just looking at the KPI on a weekly or monthly basis doesn't make you a data-driven leader, because against that definition, everybody is entitled to claim
you're a dashboard-driven leader.
Exactly. Yeah? So in our view, data-driven leader goes much further than this. First of all, it is how do you connect data to processes and to leadership and people behavior. So can you address people behaviors of employees by using data throughout your system? So it is that connectivity which is essential to become a data-driven leader. Secondly is we like to refer to our data-driven leadership model, which is basically stating, if I want to make an impact and I have a purpose with my company, how do I go from having lots of data in functional databases? How do I combine them? How do I drive analysis, insights, decision making and execution with the data? So it doesn't mean that every leader needs to be an expert in all these domains, but certainly a data-driven leader needs to have a base awareness how you can take your organization through this journey from purpose to impact, build skills and build an operating system in your organization in order to steer towards improved performance. So the skill set is pretty broad before, against our definition, somebody can call him or herself a data-driven leader.
Yeah, I think one of the main differences with the data-driven leader is also that this leader is connected to the shop floor. Can you say something about it? What does that really mean?
Yeah, what we see actually in most KPI structures, drill down structures or the bottom up structure, is, as I like to say it, unintentionally people, leaders, disconnect themselves from the shop floor or from the operational processes where most people work in organizations. They don't do this intentionally, but it is the lack of understanding of the alternatives how to create KPIs so that you as a leader stay connected to the shop floor rather than having the shop floor talking your language to inform what is going on. Yeah. This ultimately goes back to how you define standards in your processes, how you measure, how you take granular data looks about your performance. But there's very nice alternatives available rather than disconnecting yourself unintentionally through the use of aggregated KPIs.
So Aart Willem, what are the top 3 challenges to become a data-driven leader?
First of all, it's the personal side, the professional side. So are you willing to challenge your own assumptions and your own paradigms through the use of process data? The second one is related to organizational political challenges. So are you allowed to challenge the fundamentals in terms of assumptions and paradigms of the organizations, or are these no-go areas? And thirdly, it is the technical challenge of becoming a data-driven leader is, do you speak enough of the technical language to connect to your IT colleagues, to business intelligence, to read data properly from a statistical perspective? So these are the 3: personal, organizational, political, and technical.
And when you have become a data-driven leader, what type of effect does that have on your organization?
That also splits out in various areas. First of all, let's talk about the culture and the behaviors which you observe in the organization. If you use more data, we call that the democracy of data. Everybody is entitled to relate to data, to talk about the data, to interpret the data. And therefore there is more saying power for many more people in the organization rather than the claim of the leader to only use the data.
So it's a total data culture.
It's a data culture which takes certain negative emotions out of the organization. Therefore, people are more aligned. And thirdly, if you truly use the data in a proper way, you also will stimulate a culture of accountability, because everything becomes more transparent, which some people, of course, do not appreciate. But in most organizations, it is a positive effect to the culture because people will act more accountable because it's visible through the data what the real performance is.
And for the business performance, that end-to-end process performance, what would you say would be the effect for an organization that really has built data culture and that is being led by data-driven leaders?
Yeah, a redefinition of productivity. There's still many people that see productivity as an orange that you squeeze and somewhere there's no more drips to taken from the orange. But if you redefine it and say, no, productivity is a product of creativity, and creativity is fueled by the use of data and by the use of insights. So therefore, if you have that redefinition, you can continuously start make an impact either on service, on working capital, on productivity, on responsiveness, on speed to market, or a combination of those things. It's always about faster, cheaper, more with the same asset, these type of things which hit the P&L and or balance sheet.
So Aart Willem, thank you for your inspiring insights on data-driven leadership.
Thank you, Roberto. Pleasure to have me here.
So, to all you supply chain leaders out there and all your operations specialists, I've hoped you enjoyed this data-driven leadership vlog, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.